Hey guys, as always, I'm Connor and I'm joined by my good friend Dan.
Howdy.
And today, guys, we're talking about the Russo brothers movie, Cherry.
Yes, Russo brothers coming through with the movie Cherry, 2021. This is the only topic for today.
Yes. Basically, why Dan is saying that is we went over an hour in a recording session.
Yes.
And we realized that's a lot of time and a lot of cuts to do. Mm-hmm. And we talked more than our allotted time just about Cherry.
Yes.
So if you guys want something special, go to YouTube and we'll have a film asterisk about the Academy Award nominations.
Yes. So basically, on Friday the 19th, we will be dropping the Andy's Winners episode. And probably that following Sunday, we will drop the Oscar noms, just to have as a little bonus film asterisk in between episodes. And then you'll see Cherry pop up the following Friday. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then we'll just go straight to the ending.
Let's go into it, Connor.
Let's go into Cherry.
Yeah.
We've already recorded the segment.
Yes, all cherries already been popped.
So here's past Connor and past Dan talking about the Russo brothers' Cherry.
See ya.
So Dan, do you want me to read out loud my Cherry review just so people know where I stand?
True, I haven't read it yet. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell you guys what I think of Cherry because when I read my review, it will become very apparent.
Okay.
So Dan, it first starts with a little diatribe. The Russo brothers, look Marty, we made a movie. Because the whole theme park thing that Martin Scorsese said about Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. They're not films, they're theme parks.
Yeah.
And while trying to prove they can make something other than a theme park ride, the Russos did something worse. They made a carnival ride. Something ramshackle and nauseating. Something that looks fun when you're in line, but once you're on it, every bit of anticipation melts away, and you're just white knuckle gripping the sides, waiting for it to stop. That's my review of Cherry.
Jesus, that's harsh. Dang, man.
I did not like Cherry.
I gave
it 2 stars.
That's kind of. That's what 2 stars gets for you.
It's a bad movie. It's 2 stars.
That would be like what I say to a 1 star, man. Like 2 stars just has some good. Oh, man,
here's the thing. Cherry, it does have its strengths. There are moments where it is very endearing and actually heartfelt, and those quickly are stripped away by like, look at us doing cool film things, like red screens, split screens. Whoa, the banks have funny names.
Oh,
and then I'm
okay, Connor, we have so much to talk about. We have so much to talk about with this movie.
First of all, because it's killing me. Did you like Cherry?
Let me rate it on Letterboxd as we speak. Over the air, I'm going to rate it on Letterboxd.
I'm going to watch it pop up live on my screen. But yeah, while you're doing that, I'll just keep going. I think Tom Holland's very good in this movie. I think Sierra Bravo's very good in this movie. It's just sadly this movie is not very good at all. I think I get what the Russo brothers are trying to do. I just don't think it really succeeds. Oh, okay, yeah, so we're in agreement. It's 2 stars.
We're all fully in agreement, which is surprising. I was trying to take notes and analyze, critique, give props to this movie as I was watching it, and I just kept going and going, and I have so much to say. I have too much to say. So I guess. Oh God, where to start off? We're gonna start off with the critiques and then get to my little short list of pluses at the end. The bizarre visual choices and the autistic aesthetics. It becomes so disjointed, it distracts from any meaning that the visuals maybe all meant to have in the film to a point where it's just hard to watch. The dialogue. Not exactly poetry.
No. Then there's not a tree he doesn't like.
Oh my God.
A tree would have to be really messed up for him not to like it. He's like, a tree would have to be really messed up for me not to like it. I love trees, man.
Yeah, they're just trying to capture the teen or youth dialogue from other grittier films, and they're trying to be relatable with the youth with this generic imagery and narration and character development, but it just ends up being I don't know. I feel like with youth romances and relationships, when they need or want to be written, it feels like screenwriters are just scraping the edges of the barrel to write something just write something differently, right? Mm-hmm. And most of the time, they don't create a new take on it. They just literally change the words and hope it means something new and something different. No one's technically said this before. Maybe it'll just have a different impact. And that's why I feel like is coming through, at least with the first section. Because this movie is easily in 3 sections. It is.
There's pre-war, war, and then afterwards.
Yeah, post-war.
Post-war, yeah.
And if we're going back to the dialogue, Tom Holland's narration, it comes off as pretentious and alienating to the audience, and not the characters, where I think it was supposed to be detected as, oh, Cherry, Tom Holland's character, he's like alienated from other people, but you're supposed to still keep him with the audience, and I think they just reversed it.
Yeah.
Where it just alienates from the audience.
He's incredibly unlikable.
And what really gets me, oh my goodness, there is no, because of the narration, and like this, I think this is the perfect example of a film that, like, if someone were to walk up to you in Eats and point at you, Connor, and be like, Connor, there should never be any narration in a movie again. This is the movie they could point to, and I might believe them. Because it literally rips out any semblance of subtext. It assumes the audience will not understand any of it, of like what Tom Holland is going through and what he's feeling. So they literally have to have Tom Holland say it for you, and that might be the biggest detractor in this film. Well, it's up there with the wonk visuals.
Yeah. No, I don't. See, it's not even. I don't even think they think the audience is stupid. I just don't think they know how to tell this story.
Yeah.
Which, are you aware that this is a true story? It's the actual guy Nico Walker's like life story that he wrote in prison.
I had a feeling that this was based on a true story because this movie wouldn't exist if it wasn't a true story.
Reality's stranger than fiction. That whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The guy has not seen the movie. He was not involved at all.
Mm-hmm.
They paid him, obviously, because they used his book, but he was not involved in the process at all. And I think it shows. I think this has no, like, other than a couple moments actually in the war, it has no sincerity.
Yeah.
This movie has no heart whatsoever. It has no emotion. It has no subtlety. It's just like, look, it's Spider-Man guy. He's sad. He in war. Now he robbed bank.
Yeah,
that's Cherry,
and it's sad. It's so sad. To see Tom Holland caught up in this, despite what I think is a good performance.
I just think it's funny because movies about like drug abuse and robbing banks, and I think it's sad Tom Holland's caught up in this. I know you mean the movie.
He's caught up in the drugs.
I wish I like thinking like it's like, do you think Tom Holland actually is a drug addict who robs banks?
He might be, man.
He might
be.
That's some slander. Sorry, Tom. That's a joke.
No. Okay.
He's very good in the movie too.
It is. The movie is trying.
It is. Yes.
You know,
it's trying. It's trying too much.
It is. It's trying too much. It's trying way too much. Calm down, Cherry. I guess if we're going like, because I did write these kind of critiques in chronologically as I was watching the film.
Real quick.
The recruiter's name tag saying whomever. Did you catch that?
I did not catch that. That sounds like something Cherry would do.
It's something that just shows up in all of them. Like, unless people need actual names, they aren't given names, and they're more just like symbols, like with the banks.
Yeah.
And with like the soldiers' names. Like, oh, Tom Holland, Cherry. His tag on his uniform just says soldier. Interesting. It's those kind of details that kind of undermine a movie that I think wants to be more abstract. Yeah. I think it's trying to be a more artistic and abstract film, but it straddles the line of abstraction where it just feels unable to actually commit to any of it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't want to be too abstract because it's still trying to, I guess, be marketable. And I think this is kind of what brings me into the second act with the military, the whole war zone scene. I mean, I personally have experience with military culture.
Mm-hmm.
My father was in the military my entire youth. And I'm not going to come out here and say that I know what it's like. I only know what it's like to be the son of a guy who was in the military at this time, because this takes place post 9/11. Cherry joins the military in 2002 and deploys to Iraq, I believe.
Yeah.
They might not say Iraq. I kind of assumed it was Iraq because they were in like the heat of it as they say, in the I can't say it.
In the chute.
In the chute. They were in the chute. Deep in the chute.
In the shucks, if you will.
In the shucks. And I do believe I have a some semblance of what I was able to see military culture being like, growing up on like just hanging out on military bases as a little boy. And this depiction of Cherry for me, it's a very selective experience of what military culture is, like especially during the post 9/11 era when there was a slight spike in recruitments, who you saw coming into the military and the tone there was. And I think what gets me is that I do kind of take issue with like the tonal dramatization of the scenes in the war zones. Despite like the gruesome and raw nature, it still feels glamorized.
It feels
in a way.
exploitative.
Yeah. Well, maybe not exploitative in a way, because I know they're not trying to exploit it. They're trying to show it in a specific way. But it's still kind of like it's glamorization in a sense. It feels like, whoa, crazy, because it's Hollywood, and I don't want to pin Hollywood to like having one take. I can only say there are trends and exceptions when it comes to Hollywood, as is with a lot of just institutions in life. There's trends and there's exceptions, and this fits heavy in the trend of Hollywood trying to show, I guess, whoever they think their audience is, what a war zone is like and how it feels. And like, I don't know, it's difficult. Like this is, and also like a lot of the dialogue, I kept telling myself, this is how Hollywood thinks soldiers talk.
Yeah.
And I know how, it's just not. I guess with a story like this, I personally want it to be more grounded in reality.
Especially because it's based off a true story.
Yeah, sure. Like for me, I would just prefer seeing and hearing things that feel real.
Yeah.
I think we'll get, when we get into the pluses, I'll like get into some of the, I think, good stuff they did with that. But just when it comes to like some of the dialogue, I'm like, this is not, it's not real. No. I guess like, if for someone who has zero military experience, like doesn't know what the military is like and has only been like experiencing that through, I don't know, news circuits and Hollywood movies, this fits. I don't think anyone would blink an eye at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be like, oh yeah, this is the war. This is guns, blam, blam, like that's it. Just dudes being guys in the desert. Like, yeah. I don't know. And this is, again, like, where the idea of no subtext comes in. There's no subtlety in the emotion. Yeah. It's just like...
Also, when it has, like, interesting emotional moments, they end up not meaning anything.
Yeah.
Which, with the exception of, like, we'll be very light spoilers here, other than, like, he goes to war, which you can tell by the trailer.
Yeah. Like, I think the most we're going to get to is he goes to war, he deals with PTSD, and he robs banks.
Yeah. Well, there's a sick event that happens towards the end of his tour.
Yes.
Where someone he cares about is, dies.
Yeah, is killed.
Yeah, and that's one of the moments I actually do like in that segment. I think it's the one moment where it actually takes a second to be emotionally honest.
Yes.
And then it just disappears again.
Mm-hmm. It is just like these moments.
Yeah. Or the moment with the little girl in the MRE.
Oh, yeah.
Is something really interesting, but it's just abandoned after that, really.
Yeah.
It's not telling us anything really about the morality of war. It's showing us that Cherry is a good person, and sometimes when you're a good person, those actions get punished.
Mm-hmm.
Even sometimes you do a good thing and someone else gets hurt for it, which is interesting. But then the movie kind of lets that go.
Whatever.
So, Dan.
Yeah, I guess we'll take a quick PSA break. We will return talking about the new Russo brothers film, Cherry, starring Tom Holland.
Online ordering is now available through Sodexo's Bite app. Skip the lines and pick up your favorite entree from IDX or grab a slice of pizza or burger for your busy schedule. Open Monday through Friday, 7:15 a.m. and weekends at 9 a.m.
Okay, guys, welcome back to Film And. Like Dan mentioned, we're talking about the new Russo brothers movie, Cherry, starring Tom Holland, Sierra Bravo, and Jack Rayner.
what I realized is the movie kind of started as like a generic teen drama, then it was a gritty war drama, and then it was like a Wolf of Wall Street-esque like crime and drug, almost like comic thriller that's like trying to have a soul. Like, that almost like glamorized stuff. Like, I've been talking about how the narration was maybe like one of the worst bits of the film, but that's not. No, it was the music. It was the musical choices, the needle drops, and the score that is literally in this situation so important to like guide the audience on how they're supposed to feel emotionally, that literally trips up every step. Like, you see him like getting money for like drugs and like getting high with Sierra Bravo.
Yeah.
And they have like this almost like comically triumphant score going under it, like it's some like, I can't swear, it's like some like joke.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be like, oh, it's crazy, now they're like into the drugs, man.
They're
like,
dope fiends.
Yeah,
as
they're
they call
dope
themselves.
fiends. Oh, and it's like, no. Like, yeah.
The only thing I can think of is at that moment, obviously, they're both riding very high. And that's why it's a very triumphant score.
It does,
but it just
it's
acts
not the
in
place
contrast.
for it. It's so,
Or the bit with the safe, which is just obviously overtly very comedic.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It does have moments where it does try to give you the consequences of that life. Like, it's obviously, with it being a drug drama, you know, someone's going to OD at some point.
Yeah.
They do give you like hints of that, but then like I mentioned with the whole movie as a whole, it's like moments of sincerity, then bam, loud music. This is crazy, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Look at Spider-Man, he's doing heroin.
Look at Spider-Man, he's doing heroin.
But like, that's the movie. It's like, look at guy who swing from web. Now we got needle in arm.
Oh god,
that's the movie.
Yeah,
and
it's difficult. I'm happy we could chuckle about this. I'm trying to enjoy this because at the end of the day, I want to like this movie.
I do
so
like
much
look
more.
at Spider-Man. He's doing heroin. That's a good sound clip. But,
so for me, I say we move on to the pluses.
Yeah.
That I want to highlight.
Yeah, and I have a few as well. Like I mentioned.
In the first section, where the movie hadn't betrayed me yet, the panning shot in the car with the four of them, awesome.
It's very cool, yeah.
Very
Waves-esque.
Very Waves-esque. I loved it. Thank you for that shot. I really liked the scene of when Emily was coming to say goodbye with her friend Benji in 2002. And like realizing what that means to Tom Holland's character for Cherry. Really cool moment. I really liked that. Was a cool scene.
It's a good scene, yeah.
And having like, was it like his cousin be like, I want to punch this dude in like the groin or
his
whatever.
friend. It's his friend's cousin.
Yeah. Tom Holland is trying. You can feel he's trying.
I think he's good in the movie.
He's good in this
very
movie. Good. He is. Like,
he's
I
giving
gotta
it his
give
all.
it to him. Like, I guess this, if there's one thing like positively I can take away from this, it's the fact that I can look back at this movie and be like, well, now I'm pretty sure Tom Holland's a good actor. Like, now this was kind of the proof I needed to be like, I like Tom Holland now.
The sad thing is, Tom Holland has always been an incredible actor since like 2011 with The Impossible. Mm-hmm. But now he's Spider-Man, and he's given nothing to do because he's only Spider-Man or the voice in Disney animated movies.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's in something like this because it's a chance for him to actually be in a movie.
Yeah.
But not the I don't want to get into that debate where the MCU are movies,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. Where it's like he's able to be someone other than like web swing boy.
Yeah.
He's actually somebody.
Basically like nerdy teen boy.
Yes.
But attractive nerdy teen boy. You know, it's like when you like take a male model and just like, oh, just muss up his hair and put some like thick glasses on him. He'll be like nerdy hot.
No one will ever think he's attractive again.
No.
And I'm assuming Sierra Bravo in your positives.
No, she's not a positive or a negative. She felt like it was a pretty neutral performance for me. If there's one performance I do want to highlight, it's actually Forrest Goodluck as James Lightfoot.
Yeah.
Great. I think the character is fine. I think the casting was perfect.
Yeah,
like
I
he
really
was
like
one of
that
the
guy.
characters in this film where I just believed he was a real person. Like, I've met a James Lightfoot before. I've known a James Lightfoot before. Like, that was cool. Okay, you might not agree with this, but the red transitions in between I liked them. They looked so cool.
I don't
care.
disagree with you.
Like,
I wasn't
in
like
the grand
against
scheme,
them.
I don't like them, but God, they look so cool.
Yeah, no,
That's one of the moments I couldn't help but be like, oh.
They existed. I didn't have a huge opinion on them.
Yeah. I'll be honest, the basic training sequence at the beginning, the basic training where it switches aspect ratio was very pretty.
Yes.
I liked watching that. It was one of, like, I'm kind of like, these are some of the visual choices I actually did like. But then the movie just couldn't stop itself. Like, it had a cool idea, but, like, it just wanted to put all of its cool ideas in it, you know?
Yes.
Oh, and the overhead shots as a recurring theme of, like, tracking overhead shots. Really well done. I liked that. Not the drone shots, because those are different, but, like, the overhead shots.
Yeah.
Like the one when they were in the barracks in Iraq. That was really cool. I love that.
Yeah. The dollhouse shot, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that quite a bit.
And another aesthetic I love is when, oh my goodness, when Tom Holland is on the phone, when Cherry is on the phone with Emily, and you hear her voice through the phone, but you see her visual, was like as if it's what Tom Holland is imagining she's looking like, but he can only hear her voice through the phone, and that's what we're hearing. Amazing.
Yeah,
these are the couple things where I'm like, this could have been awesome.
Yeah, there is some interesting stylistic choices. That's just sadly, like we've mentioned a couple times already, like just muddled by a lot of just visual noise.
Yeah.
And it's such a bummer. No, if the Russos had just been like, these are our cool little flourishes, let's stick to these, instead of like, you know, at the dentist, where they have that big box of like prizes if you're a little kid for not like biting the dentist.
Yeah.
They just got that box, you're like, Cherry, and they shoved it on the ground.
Pretty much. I like that visualization. And I guess my final... Oh, by the way, the Warzone set design. That's what I was going to mention. When it comes to the set design of the Warzone, they did a good job.
Yeah.
They nailed it. I think the first thing that made me notice it and started making me check every shot was when I saw the crappy little DVD player on Tom Holland's side like table, which is like one that my dad had when he went to Kuwait. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They know, they had those crappy video players. You know what's up. And yeah, final positive note, Tom Holland kind of rocks a mustache.
He does look good with the mustache.
He looked good in a mustache, man. I'm down for that.
Do you like the ending?
That's my final bit, the epilogue. Okay. I don't... I'll be honest, I don't like saying this because it's kind of a vulnerable moment for me, but I didn't get it. I like getting stuff. That ending confused me so much. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel.
It's not a positive.
No. It's also not a negative. I just
I was doing the ooh boy, like collar pull. I hate the epilogue.
Oh,
I think it's atrocious.
I don't know how to feel because I think it's just really confusing.
I think it's confusing. It also gives us all the wrong messages of the movie. Spoiler warning for Cherry. We're going to spoil the literal ending of Cherry.
Okay, right here, folks. So real quick, we are going to give you a second. We'll play a little music in the background. We're going into third act, heavy spoilers. We're going to talk about the ending. So you have a sec.
The literal last 5 minutes.
Literal last 5 minutes. Okay, go.
Okay. Where it's like, it's not spoiler to say, the movie ends positively for Cherry, which I'm not against it ending positively for Cherry. I'm against the way it's like, Cherry did all these bad things, these people are bad for each other, they have a happy ending.
Yeah.
The movie should have ended, which this is definitely not a spoiler, because this happens 1,000 times.
No, the movie should have ended, that's the spoiler.
No, the movie should have ended with him doing heroin on the grass.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, that's
the ending frame of the movie.
And I get what the Russos are trying to do with, but life goes on.
They're trying to do it. So Nico Walker, the guy who wrote the book Cherry is based off of, he obviously went to prison. He wrote this book in prison. And now the proceeds of the book go back to paying back the banks.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. That's very cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think this narrative of Cherry is really served by showing him going through rehab and like finally Tom Holland with weird old age makeup and a mustache is going to be with Sierra Bravo, who still looks 12.
Yeah.
I think we've proven these people are very bad for each other and they're enablers and like they're just they should not be together.
Yeah. but it also needs to be a choice from them
Yes.
to not be together. Because, like, in the film, it's like, oh, the parents pressure Cherry to be like, leave. And he almost does, and then he doesn't.
Don't destroy her, too.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to see really quick how the book ends.
Yeah, the ending just doesn't feel like it means much of anything by the end of it.
No, it doesn't mean anything.
Which is why I don't feel much about it. Like, it doesn't impact me negatively or positively.
Yeah, so really quickly.
Other than the fact that Tom Holland gets a mustache.
So the ending of the book is literally him doing heroin on the grass.
What?
Yeah.
That's the end of it?
Yeah.
Oh, the movie should have ended.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like that's the Russos being like, oh no, we can't end it on this dark note. I'm like, yes, you can.
Yeah, the Lasser novel runs itself in a cyclic stagnation of addiction to a point where the only way to end the story is another flash of blood in the rig.
Oh, that's so good. That's actually a good ending, too. Like, I was like, okay, at least they kind of stuck the ending.
Yeah, so the epilogue isn't even in the book. Which I feel like the epilogue is just like, this is a Hollywood movie.
This is a Hollywood movie being like, but we want to,
it
we
has
just
a
want to
happy
mention
ending.
real quick that you guys, like, know that he ended up okay and everything was all right. He didn't die. Like, we don't want to leave you hanging. It's
the
like,
person
but
that's
look,
incredibly bad for him, he still ends up with her.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, it's...
I can't tell if we're supposed to assume she got clean.
I think so, because she's obviously
yeah.
still alive after 15 years,
Yes.
and she's in the car.
And she looks healthier. I know she's kind of
healthy,
being like washed, bathed in backlight, so you can't really see her.
because she's supposed to be like, she's his angel.
Yeah.
She's like, but she's not his angel, because she enables him to do lots of bad things.
I don't know. I mean, like, if the point is they got clean at the end, then I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I'm happy they
they're
got
together.
clean.
But, like, also you didn't show that in a way that was meaningful.
You showed Tom Holland on the floor with vomit once, and him going to NA meetings.
God, you want to know what kind of got me? This was, honestly, this kind of got me. The epilogue. Okay, I don't like the epilogue now. Sorry, we've been talking about it, and I think about it, I'm like, no. Another thing that this movie just stumbled on was, like, it kind of made it out that, like, oh, he went to prison and it fixed him. So prison works. He's clean and he's good and he got out and, well, it was good for him. And I'm like, ah.
Yeah, meanwhile...
We have too much prison reform to do to, like, have that even be close to maybe the message
Meanwhile,
of this.
most addicts who get out of jail immediately use right after getting out of jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think he's the exception to the rule, but it's just, it doesn't seem... Like, I think you just need to show the other side. Like, show his 10 friends in jail who all get messed up after leaving, and he learns the lesson from them instead of from the institution.
Yeah, you have a little micro scene where someone he's friends with in jail who's an addict leaves, then comes back, like, the next week.
Yeah. And just is messed up, and he's like, "Oh, I know, that can't be me. I need to move on."
Yeah,
you know, like for me. So it's, final thoughts.
We didn't like the movie.
Sadly, I think it had some bright moments, and it was kind of like, I'll be honest, it was kind of like watching Mank in a sense, where at least I had something nice to look at with Mank with the visuals because I liked those. At least I had Tom Holland giving his all.
Yeah.
Man, he was good in this. The fourth wall breaks, too.
Yeah,
Why?
No, I'm not a fan.
Why?
It's a edgy Hollywood movie thing.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be, like, a little fun, but this isn't a fun movie. It's not supposed to be a fun movie. Like,
no. Yeah. Okay. So thank you guys for listening to both this episode on the radio and hopefully the film Asterisk.
Yeah.
This is a really weird structure for us recording-wise.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for listening. Really means a lot to me and Dan. And hopefully you guys have seen Cherry and have opinions on it. If you do, if you see me on the street or in class, point to me and say, "Movie Boy, I watched the Cherry," and tell me what you thought.
I watched the Cherry.
Or "Movie Boy, that Oscar noms, they wild." And I'll be like, "You're correct, sir/madam." So, thank you for listening, guys. Want to hear more about Cherry? Or that you already heard my scalding hot review.
Dang.
Or we're watching the Snyder Cut tonight.
Oh boy.
If you want to hear or /see my opinions on Snyder Cut, you can follow me on Letterboxd at Cranberry18.
It's next week.
That is CRAND Berry 18. And yes, it is also next week's episode.
Oh boy.
So we'll let you guys know what we think of the 4 hour and 1 minute 4x3 Zack Snyder's Justice League. Okay, thank you for listening, guys. Like I mentioned, it means a lot to us. And you will hear us next week.